Hi everyone, so today we do a stock analysis on first Majestic, ticker AG, and it's a silver mining company. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor, this is my own research, up to you to make your own decision. So as a summary for this video, we're going to start with a company profile, look at the mines, then we're going to talk about the fundamentals, go quickly on that one. Then we go to the technical analysis and price catalyst. So that one I spend a bit more time because it's quite interesting. And then we're going to finish whether the company is interesting to invest or not. Let's get started. So let's start with the company profile. So it's quoted in Canada and US stock exchange as ticker AG. They have 3 producing mines that are owned 100% by the company, and those mines do silver mines, but as well they do gold. And then they have one exploring project owned at 70%, and they are called Cerro Los Gatos. So it's interesting because we could say that it's a Canadian company, as you can see in here. It's where the corporate office is, but they have actually some facility in the US. And then all the mines are actually in Mexico. So in a way, it's kind of a Mexican company because all the mines are there, which is all the assets. So here we have the thing I said earlier, Santa Elena, San Dimas, Encantada. Those are 3 main mines. And then the Cerro Los Gatos, which is the recent acquisition from memory. And as you can see in there, there is their production in there. So 10 million ounce for one, 8 million for the other, and 2.4 for the other one. And then they have the price, I think, costing them. So it's $14 US, 21 for the other one, and then 28 for the other one. So that's it for that. So in here, I wanted to explain what First Majestic focus on. That's coming right from their website, so it gives an idea of what they're looking for. So the main reason that what they're looking for is a rising silver price due to growing industrial and investor demands for silver. And how they're going to achieve it? By actually growing the production, the development of its core assets, going to merger and acquisition transactions. So in summary, they're pretty much looking at high silver prices and benefit substantially from it. It's kind of, I would say, in a way, high risk, high return type of company. Honestly, on the fundamental analysis part, I'll be honest, it's not really appealing, but it's pretty much on track with all the other mining companies, especially in gold and silver. I mean, there are very few that are actually attractive. But in a way, it's not like terrible. It's still like 1.9 on book value, 22 enterprise to value is a bit high for my taste. Forward P of 14, so it's kind of not really profitable in a sense. I will show you guys later why. And then as you can see in financial highlights, it's not that amazing, but at least they don't have more debt than cash. So it's, let's say, starting from there and starting to show some free cash flow coming. So that's about it. It's a little bit cyclical and not really appealing, so I didn't want to go through it too much, but explain what is really interesting about it. So I wanted to talk about the last quarter of 2024 and pretty much the year on 2024 compared to the others. So I would say the promising bit is that they actually have a positive free cash flow of 68 million. And then the negative part again is that they increase their share. So the reason they increase their share, as they said previously, is because they're trying to acquire more mines. And they're using it by dilution in a way. So there's 2 ways, debt or dilution. They prefer to dilute. I would say it's good and bad. Dilution is a bit risky as well because it means the share price will go down. But if they acquire great assets, it could actually balance it out. And the second part is the free cash flow. As you can see, up to 2023, that was actually negative, and then we started to go towards the positive just recently in Q4 of 2024 mainly. So in this slide, we're gonna show how much they're planning to produce and like cost guidance for 2025. So they have their 4 mines in there, and then each of them you can have a look in more detail. I'm not gonna go through it, but overall they're producing 13 million to 15 million of ounce planning for silver, 130 to 40,000 ounce of gold, and then some lead and some zinc. So the average cost to produce is around $18 to $19. That's what they project, and then the current cost is $32 to $33. So this seems like a profit margin of around 40%, which is pretty good if the price of silver stays there. Then the production compared to last year is expected to increase by 71%. So it's very interesting. If they can actually achieve that, I think it's going to be pretty good. So this is pretty much some introduction to silver. So as people might not be aware, but actually there are around 7 times more silver than gold worldwide. And the ratio at the moment is pretty much around 85 to 90 to 1. So that means that silver is actually probably undervalued by around 10 to 1 because there's 7 times more, but it's 90 times cheaper. So yeah, that's something definitely that is going on in there, and sounds like a little bit too undervalued. So like a lot of it is actually used as well because we consume more and more. So as you can see, the demand in red is going higher and higher, but the production and recycling are actually just staying afloat and just declining slowly. So there's definitely going to be some demand in the near future. So in here I wanted to talk about the silver deficit, and to show that in the past 5 years, since 2021, there's been a deficit of silver production. So that means the demand is higher than the supply, and then that will definitely impact price in the future. I mean, most likely, we don't know for sure, but it's looking like that. And then like another thing to notice is that even there is a limited number of new mines coming online, and it will remain challenged in the near future. So in my opinion, this is the kind of recipe that where you see a rise in silver just by looking at the fundamental. But you know, it doesn't have to happen, but there's all the recipe for. So just to show that the company is focused on expenditure, so they pretty much are trying to develop their mine and increase because of that lack of like that deficit. So they believe that they need to grow and invest into growing so that they can profit from the potential like deficit gap in the next few years, and hopefully a higher price of silver. So in here it's more of a shareholder information. I wanted to show all the shareholders, and the biggest one has 10% of the company, which is reasonable. It's not too high, so good and bad, but I quite like when it's a bit diversified as well. But the thing that I like a little bit less is the insider management only own 1%. I always like when they own 4 or 5% or more. So this is not ideal for me, and something that I'm not keen of. But the retail is 56% and institutional is 43%. So here is a long-term chart of AG, so first Majestic, and what I wanted to explain in here is the fact that we are more of a cheap side at the moment. So in here, with the price currently here, and then like let's say if there were no like massive like silver deficit and it was just a normal cycle, we could expect potentially a price around there and maybe sell. So that was my idea in the first place. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but that's how I'm planning the trade, to be honest. If I were to do it, I have a little bit at the moment, but it's not like really a lot yet on this one. And yeah, I think it's still possible that it gets to there in the next small cycle, and depending on how quickly they grow, I will maybe change my mind, but at the moment that's how I see it. So looking at technical analysis in a reasonable short term, I can see like it's been going down and then up quite strong, so a lot of buying, then down and then up again. So it's been consolidating but getting smaller and smaller move, but it hasn't broken that top yet. So I would say it's actually very good and interesting, getting tighter. We would need to wait here to confirm in a way, but I would say at this price is pretty cheap, so then you get more of a value at this price compared to the 8. So depending on how you feel, like I personally like at those price, but this is me, like it could still go below, so that's the risk. So I know it's a company that is mainly focused on silver, but I wanted to show gold because they still like producing gold. And then what I like about it is the fact that gold is the first that went, so it's got a consolidation in there, and then it started to break out of that cup and handle, and now it's kind of going straight up, and that is a good sign. So now that you have gold chart in mind, if we were to expect something similar to happen, so in terms of silver we have a huge cup there and handle, but I would say what is good even short term is started to get like to break of that base around here or here as well, and then started to get to the point where it could lead to 50. So considering gold is gone, I'm just thinking, oh, silver could potentially follow because it's a precious metal as well. I might follow later, but it looks like the most probable first, like I would say, target. So at this price, I'm pretty sure the company would be very like have a huge margin, so it would be very interesting to see at those prices how the company managed like basically all the earnings and that. So yeah, in my opinion, it's most likely gonna go there. So that's what interests me about looking at this company. So nothing is for sure, but the chart shows uptrend and high chance of getting there. So this has literally nothing to do with the company. They're not actually producing any copper, but I wanted to show copper because it's maybe not a like precious metal, but it's still fairly like related to gold and silver. So as you can see, the chart looks pretty much similar. It's getting to like tighter again, and then kind of cup and handle on cup and handle, if more or less looking like it, with massive resistance here. So if it were to break on the upside as well, it would be very interesting, because I really do think that copper, silver and gold move approximately at the same time. So that's how I see it. I'm thinking that the silver price is most likely gonna follow as well. So that's why get me a bit more excited about the company. If it wasn't for the price rising and the deficit of silver, I'm maybe less interested, but because of that I find it way more interesting, and definitely some potential in there if it works out great. So here is just all the three charts at the same time, gold, silver and copper, just to show you guys that they approximately move all at the same time. They're all rising more or less, even if it's got a little delay or not, 1 or 2 years, it's fairly similar. And again here you can see they're all moving at the same time, like 1 or 2 year difference. And in this case it's gold that are actually first, and then the other, like I think copper is the purple one. So as you can see in here with its base about to break. So yeah, and silver similar. So it looks like most likely they might get even all two here. I have no idea because it's hard, it's all three charts at the same time, but you can see they're all moving together. So as a conclusion for this company, what I like is the focus on growth. It's the fact that it's already a producer. It's not like just a discovery and we have no idea whether they will produce or not. So this is always a plus for me. And then the fact that silver and gold prices look great, in the technical, and the fact that the stock looks fairly good as well. I mean, not on the uptrend, but looking like it's slowly finding a bottom. Then the risk, I would say, is mainly on the fundamental. It's not very exciting, but at the same time, when you look for most like gold and silver mines, I haven't seen any gold and silver mine that look amazing, to be honest. Maybe the big cap, but I haven't really looked at them. And then like I would say, if the silver price don't really rise or stay at this point, I wouldn't say it's a great company in that sense. So I would say that to make it great, they will really have to have the silver or gold price continue to rise. That would make it better, because it could potentially give back dividends once they have grown enough. And the fact that there is a small insider ownership, ideally I would have preferred something more like 5%. So it's, let's say, a warning, something to be a little concerned about. Why do they not buying more? But yeah, that's it for me for today. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think, and then hope to see you in the next video. Thanks.